It's been a busy day in Lansing with state lawmakers moving on major pieces of legislation.
The Senate hearing emotional speeches about the repeal of Michigan's 1931 abortion ban, and the House giving final approval on the expansion of the Elliott-Larsen Civil Rights Act to include protections against sexual discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender expression.
And the legislature is not done yet for the night. Political reporter Rick Albin is live with what to expect this evening. Rick?
The thing that Democrats have been talking about for the past few weeks will come up. It's gun legislation. It'll be in the form of background checks, and they will bring that up and presumably pass it and then move it on to the Senate. But the surprise that the Democrats brought up just last night is that they're also going to try to repeal right to work. Now, the fact that they're trying to repeal it is not the surprise, but the timing is a bit of a surprise. For the past 3 weeks, the messaging from the governor and the Senate and the House has all been about gun legislation in the wake of that deadly mass shooting at MSU. But nonetheless, they are going to bring up a repeal of right to work tonight. So at least for today, that conversation took center stage. What about the timing of this?
Well, I think the timing was to get it done before spring break all along, and this gives us an opportunity to do that. The House is going to act this week, and the Senate will have a couple weeks before we break to get it done. And I just want to change the narrative a little bit about right to work. This is restoring worker freedoms, and right to work. I think that's a narrative that has been pushed, but it's really about protecting workers' rights.
Now, I just got a copy of the amendment they're making to this bill. They're going to shove into this, which was not heard in committee, for allowing university athletes to unionize, adding more protections so that graduate students can unionize, and also making it easier and legal for teachers to strike. Okay? We never heard any committee hearings on this.
So the House has been out of session for a couple of hours. They've actually been in Judiciary talking about some more gun legislation, and they should be coming back at this hour. And so we expect, if the Democrats can hold their caucus together the way they have been, they'll be able to pass that repeal of right to work and also, by the way, prevailing wage. They'll do that even though it will be to the disliking of chambers of commerce and some small business associations and some of those economic development groups. But one important constituency for Democrats is all behind this, and that's, of course, unions, and that's a very important group for Democrats, particularly during election time. We're live in Lansing. Rick Albin, News 8.
And Rick, while we have you, what is your understanding in regards to the Supreme Court? They've ruled on what unions can do, so what impact would that have on repealing right to work?
That's a very good question, Brian, because this package will say that people will have to join a union whether they're in a private setting or in a public setting. But the Supreme Court in the Janus decision says if you're working for that public entity, think public school teachers or public employees of some sort, you cannot be compelled to join the union. I talked with one of the supporters of the bill, one of the folks who introduced the bills, and they said they understand that. It won't have an impact on those public employee unions, but they said they did it just in case the Supreme Court ever overturns that decision. Brian?
Okay, Rick Albin, live in Lansing. Rick, thank you.